Is Ireland's booming economy too good to be true? What is the dark side of the Irish Republic's financial success? It turns out Ireland operates two economies, a real one, like any other country, and a hidden tax haven for multinational corporations. While rich shareholders get richer, taxpayers around the world foot the bill. Let's uncover the truth behind Ireland's GDP, the role of multinational companies, and the impact of tax evasion on global economies. The Irish Republic operates with a dual economy. One part functions like any other country's economy, where businesses sell goods and services, employ people, and make profits. The other part serves as a major tax haven. This means multinational companies channel their profits through Ireland to avoid higher taxes elsewhere, especially from places like the USA and Europe. This setup boosts corporate profits, but reduces tax revenues that could fund public services in those countries. Many experts have long recognized Ireland as a significant tax haven, despite efforts by politicians and economists in Ireland to downplay this. A recent report from the EU Tax Observatory confirms this, showing Ireland ranks among the world's largest tax havens, alongside the Netherlands. Considering its small population, Ireland's role in this is particularly pronounced. In fact, after very small Caribbean islands, Ireland trails only Puerto Rico in the amount of profits it attracts for tax reasons. Normally, a country's prosperity is measured by its GDP per person, which reflects the average income earned by its citizens. In the UK, this figure is around £40,000 per person. In Ireland, it's £85,000, more than double. However, this doesn't mean Irish people are twice as wealthy as Britons. These numbers are inflated by the presence of multinational profits flowing through Ireland, which distorts the true economic picture. Irish government statisticians have developed alternative measures of GDP to correct for profit shifting, aiming to reflect the real economy accurately. The most commonly used measure, modified gross national income, shows Ireland as 16% wealthier than the UK at current exchange rates, though similar when adjusted for higher prices in Ireland. Even so, this still overstates Irish living standards. When direct measures like household and government spending on behalf of households are considered, Irish households appear to be around 15% poorer than their UK counterparts. Such distortions in Irish national account statistics are uncommon globally and can mislead international comparisons, particularly in areas like health and education spending. The EU Tax Observatory estimates that €140 billion in profits from US and other multinational companies are funneled through Ireland to avoid taxes, equivalent to half of Ireland's official estimate of its real economy. Additionally, these companies benefit from generous tax allowances for depreciation, including significant advantages in global aircraft leases, an area where Ireland leads globally. While Ireland's profits tax rate of 12.5% is among the lowest worldwide and half that of the UK, the actual effective tax rate can be reduced to as little as 4% due to Irish tax rules. This substantial difference from tax rates in countries like the USA, UK, France, and Germany incentivizes multinational companies to declare their profits as earned in Ireland, contributing to its reputation as a prominent tax haven. The tax scam operates through three main methods. Firstly, companies manipulate transfer prices within their global operations. For example, a subsidiary in a high-tax country might pay inflated prices for services from its Irish counterpart, artificially shifting income to Ireland. Alternatively, undercharging for components assembled in Ireland makes the Irish operation appear more profitable, while reducing profits reported in high-tax countries. Secondly, multinational companies engage in intra-group lending and borrowing. Affiliates in high-tax countries may borrow money from low-tax subsidiaries, reducing taxable income in high-tax jurisdictions. Thirdly, companies strategically place trademarks, intellectual property, and logos in tax havens. They then charge subsidiaries in high-tax countries for using these assets, directing income to tax havens through royalty payments. For example, pharmaceutical or electronics firms operating in Ireland, like those manufacturing products in Cork or providing services in Limerick, can charge expensive research and development costs to their Irish subsidiaries, deducting these from Irish taxes and minimizing taxable profits. This practice has persisted for decades. As an example, a major U.S. beverage company reported exceptionally high profits per employee by attributing substantial value to routine tasks like bottling drinks. However, the scale of global tax evasion escalated dramatically around a decade ago, particularly in Ireland. In 2015, Ireland's GDP surged by 26%, seemingly overnight, an unprecedented increase in national income, impossible in normal economic conditions. It was later revealed that this spike was due to Apple transferring $300 billion of intellectual property rights to Dublin. This amount exceeded Ireland's entire national income for that year. While not all of it counted as immediate income, or GDP, earnings from intellectual property and tax deductions did contribute significantly to this figure. On top of intellectual property transfers, Ireland's aircraft leasing industry has grown remarkably. This industry now owns about 70% of the world's commercial airplanes, leasing them out to airlines globally. By 2017, an Irish-owned aircraft was taking off somewhere in the world every 2 seconds. In that year alone, there were 596 Irish companies engaged in aircraft leasing, and the industry has continued to expand since. The profits from these operations are recorded in Dublin, even though the planes seldom land there. Despite minimal tax rates, the tax revenues generated are significant for the Irish government. Bob Lydon, an accountant with expertise in aircraft leasing, reported on tax evasion in Ireland. According to his figures, Irish companies purchase $150 billion worth of aircraft each year, with a total stock value around $1 trillion, 4 times the size of Ireland's real economy. The Irish Central Bank highlighted the permissive tax regime as the main reason for this industry's presence in Ireland. Lydon adds that the growth of aircraft leasing in Ireland, instead of other low-tax regions like the Caribbean, is due to the physical presence of multinational companies, initially drawn by Ireland's low tax rates. These companies can invest up to 15% of each aircraft's value, borrowing the rest from banks and investors. Irish law allows them to deduct 1/8 of the aircraft's total value from their Irish tax bill each year. Lydon estimates this tax allowance saves $14 billion annually, and it's worth $84 billion each year. Rental income from aircraft leases is about $110 billion annually, nearly half the size of Ireland's real economy, but this income mainly covers borrowing costs. The primary benefit for multinationals based in Ireland is the tax relief. The industry also employs several thousand highly paid professionals in Dublin's finance sector, as well as lawyers and indirect beneficiaries like estate agents and high-end restaurants. The impact on the Irish economy is immense, with the financial economy driven by tax evasion being almost as large as the real economy. The 26% GDP surge in early 2015 is an anomaly, unattainable in a real economy. Even China, during its peak growth, averaged only 10% per year, while Western European countries rarely exceeded 3% annual growth. Corporate tax revenues constitute a significant portion of all taxes paid in Ireland, making up 21% compared to just 7% in the UK, a substantial increase from 9% in 2010. Nearly 90% of this tax is paid by multinational corporations, with the majority stemming from just 10 U.S.-owned firms. Notably, 3 of these U.S. firms alone contribute a third of Ireland's corporate tax revenues, with Apple being the largest contributor. Despite widespread recognition of Ireland's role as a tax haven, effective measures to curb tax evasion have faced challenges. Attempts by the UK in 2007 and the US a decade later to prevent firms from relocating their headquarters to low-tax jurisdictions like Ireland were partially successful, but other methods of tax evasion persisted. The OECD, representing advanced economies, achieved a breakthrough in 2021 by securing agreement for a minimum global corporate tax rate of 15%. This requires Ireland to raise its tax rate from 12.5% to 15% for foreign-owned firms, though smaller domestic firms can maintain the lower rate. However, loopholes remain, allowing around a third of global multinational profits to still be channeled through tax havens like Ireland. Within the EU, there is considerable disapproval of Ireland's tax policies, which divert tax revenues from other EU economies. However, corporate profits tax remains under national jurisdiction, and efforts to reform this have been hindered by Ireland's veto power within the EU. Attempts to use EU state aid rules to enforce discipline on companies have also faltered. For instance, the EU Commission's move to impose a €13 billion fine on Apple in 2016 under state aid rules was contested by Ireland, leading to its later overturning by the European General Court, despite the potential revenue it would have generated for Ireland. The Republic of Ireland has experienced several financial crises, notably during the global banking crisis in 2008. A key historical example is the collapse of Shannon-based Guinness Peat in 1992, which was among the first major Irish aircraft leasing companies. This collapse occurred during an air travel downturn, exacerbated by substantial orders that affected 10% of global aircraft production. There are warnings, particularly from figures like Liddon, that such scenarios could repeat, potentially causing severe economic consequences for Ireland, although the likelihood of this remains uncertain. Currently, the Irish government is offering to share a portion of its controversial tax revenue gains with Northern Ireland, such as funding for projects like the dualling of the A5 road. However, there are concerns about the broader implications if Northern Ireland were to deepen economic integration with the Republic. This could expose Northern Ireland to the financial risks associated with a tax haven economy. Many argue it may be wiser for Northern Ireland to maintain its current status as a subsidized region within the financially stable UK economy, rather than risking exposure to potential economic instability.